Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan with Token Forum. I'm here with Jesse Adams, CEO and founder of Tenta. They have an encrypted browser that's private by default. All those things that you normally add to have privacy, it just comes standard with Tenta. So welcome Jesse, and introduce yourself to us.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Very excited to speak at Token Forum. I went to the last event. Seattle for blockchain is just getting started. And I've been to a handful of events, and the Token Forum was by far the best.
Thank you.
Just good quality, just the amount of time and effort spent into the topics, and this is all around a great event. Tenta is a private encrypted browser. We are building the browser of the future that protects your data instead of selling it. Today's browsers is built on the attention economy. It's built around advertising. It needs more of your data to survive. We're trying to redefine what the browser's role is in today's internet, which is to be a secure gateway and protect your privacy and security. And that's increasingly getting harder and harder.
Nice. So one of the questions I love to ask everybody is, what's your blockchain or crypto origin story? How did you get in the space?
So I would say before Tenta, we're also the founders of first and largest adult app store. So in that world, it's very kind of counterculture. It's not safe for work. It's counterculture. We're already kind of dabbling in that, looking for anonymous payments for adult content. So Bitcoin was always on our radar very early on. We actually, the founders of Tenta have also lost in the beginning stuff in Mt. Gox. So back then we were already just dabbling in it personally. And just watching it. So that's kind of how it started. And of course, when you're trying to build a browser of the future, you have to be aware of what the next phase of the internet is going to happen, right? Yeah. Web 3.0. So it makes sense.
Excellent. So I'm excited for this new browser of the future.
Yep.
Tell us why is Tenta that?
So we're seeing kind of three global trends that are driving our growth and also products like ours. So first one is that internet freedom around the world has been in decline for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
You don't see as much in the US, but other countries it really has clamped down a lot, and it's just getting worse. Second is they're just massive data breaches, and they're getting more frequently and larger. So that kind of creates a moral panic with identity theft, protecting yourself online. A lot of times your digital self, it's a blur of your offline and online. It's really the same. Like, it's becoming a long shadow of who you are online.
Right.
People are kind of catching up to that. And the third one is there's this kind of prevailing thought that privacy is already dead. But there's a rejection to that. The crypto revolution is, I would say, and also rejection of that version of the future. People are just tired of all the tracking, the ads. They're too good for their own good. They're creepy. It's the reason why people are trusting Facebook less. They want to move off of Google. So those are kind of three trends that are driving people to come to us.
Yeah.
So our organic search words for us are like VPN browser, incognito browser, private browser, secure browser, crypto browser. Those are the words that people are searching when they find us.
Yeah. That's super interesting. I actually read an article a little while ago about people experiencing privacy fatigue, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that they're just so used to their privacy being public,
right,
that they just don't even know what to do. So it's great that you have a solution like this.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is, like, a lot of times people build privacy products. They're usually, you can go down the rabbit hole, or they're built by tinfoil hat people. So what ends up happening is the product is too complicated to use, or they require too much of the user.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to switch from all these convenient apps that just know you so well, and the private version is so, it just sucks to use.
Totally.
And so we spend a lot of time and invest a lot of time on UX and UI, where everything just works in the background. And so all the tools I'm talking about, VPN, full data encryption, secure DNS, which basically means your DNS queries are encrypted, so your ISP can't see your browsing history, ad block, anti-tracking, malware protection. All that stuff just happens in the background. You don't have to actually turn anything on or install plugins or extensions. So, yeah. And then people like it. They use it, and they'll actually switch. You have to remove all that friction for it to be successful.
Yeah, totally. I run a VPN, but I need to turn it on separately, and then maybe I forget to turn on my VPN, right? So I can totally see the need
2 or 3 apps just to create a secure environment.
Right.
And that's just for personal use. Now, these days, BYOD, which means bring your own device, a lot of companies allow you to bring your home phone or your mobile device to work. And so it's blended. So now you're required to use VPN a lot of times.
Yeah.
And So switching between work mode and home mode is so annoying to have to, turn on a VPN and create a secure work environment, maybe go back to YouTube. A lot of people like to multitask. And so we're just helping people solve that problem and make life a little bit easier to get online safely.
Totally. So tell us how you're incorporating blockchain or tokenization into Tenta.
Yeah, so the VPN specifically, the VPN world, there's two issues with private browsing. One is it has to be fast for people to adopt it.
Right.
There's no way around it. You just need a large network. And so decentralization allows a lot of people to participate and run VPN nodes in the network. That just helps more speed. So the more locations around you, the faster the speed will be. The more you rely on it, the more you actually use the browser and stay connected without using the alternative. Second is, specifically in the VPN world, we play a cat and mouse game as far as being blocked, locations being blocked. The more people participate, more IP addresses online. It's just not impossible, but more practically infeasible for countries or governments to block every single mobile device that's out there.
Right.
So that is our mission, to make private browsing fast and ubiquitous. Decentralization helps us fight that.
Nice. And are you thinking through tokenization at all for Tenta?
Yes. So, we think the browser of the future, table stakes will be, it has to have a multi-coin wallet. It's going to have to support a ton of protocols. There's a lot of investment in infrastructure in the crypto space, but very little investment in front-end UI. That's what we're building with the browser. So we're working with folks like MetaMask, with RightMesh, a lot of different companies who have their own tokens. We have our own for our VPN network as well. It's an access token to be able to access the network. But the browser of the future it's going to have to support all these different projects.
Yes, I'm assuming the wallet then lives inside of the browser.
Yes, exactly. It has to, a Web3 browser needs to support, it needs to be useful today. So it needs to be access today's internet, but also be developer friendly. Yeah. So anyone can build on top of it.
Right.
Yeah. And because this world's coming. And like I said, a lot of people are investing in the back end stuff, but very few folks are investing in the app that make it useful.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people underestimate how hard it is to make an app that's useful that people use every day. And so we've started early. It took us a while to figure it out ourselves, and now it's our job to make it really easy for developers to integrate with the browser, and we can help bring them more users.
Nice. Yeah. So, you're mentioning developers. Do you have APIs available today that people can start using and building off of?
Not public. We are doing kind of a curated stance right now, and the reason for that is primarily security. Traditionally, even with the Chrome store, extensions like wallpapers, the most innocuous extension can actually leak your data and be a security hazard.
Yeah.
So that's a huge nightmare. It's a beast to control, like a huge browser app store. So right now it's really kind of controlled, and make sure we get it right, and then we'll open it up. Because we have to redefine what an extension means and what permissions are allowed in this kind of new Web 3.0 user data sovereignty, identity, protecting world.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. So, being that you've been active and learning and an active participant in this space, what projects are interesting to you that you've seen? What projects are you a fan of?
I would say we just announced our partnership with RightMesh, so I have to give them a shout out. They're trying to bring more connectivity to people that are underserved around the world. And for Tenta, it's going to enable peer-to-peer encrypted file sharing. So you don't have to allow people to send your data to a server or third party. It's just over Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So that's a big deal. Obviously, like the folks at, I met a ton of people at Consensus. So Uport, MetaMask, a lot of the things that we're really interested in integrating with, we're looking at a lot. Obviously, I would say the projects I'm looking at are the ones that excite me, are probably the ones that I really can see we need in the browser. So
to fit into
I don't want to solve myself.
That's smart. Nice. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. It's been great talking with you. Jesse and I actually met at a conference in San Francisco a few months ago, and
on a battleship.
And we're like, hey, we're both from Seattle, so it's been great. Really excited to have you speak at our next Token Forum on November 9th.
Looking forward to it.
So you can get tickets at thetokenforum.com, and you'll see Jesse along with our other speakers. See you then.